Hi there, everyone. I'm Keith Schweigert. This is Jeff Reinhart. We're from lanksports.com, and we're discussing the second of our two spotlight games for this week. Lancaster Catholic hosting Trinity. Lancaster Catholic, of course, is the defending PIAA Class AA champion. Knocked off Greensburg Central Catholic in a classic last December in a snowstorm. Since then, Jeff, Lancaster Catholic just decimated by graduation. I mean, you look at some of the names that they've lost. Quarterback Kyle Smith, Tyler Purvis, the receiver, Ross Hall, the offensive and defensive lineman, really the heart and soul of both trenches there. The list goes on and on and on. But, you know, we both spoke to Catholic coach Bruce Harbach before the training camp began. Bruce is never short on confidence, and he certainly isn't this year. Do you think they can really spackle over all those holes that were left by graduation and put together a team that's going to contend and make another deep playoff run this year?
I really do. The cupboard is not bare. And you rattled off some great names, and yes, Catholic did lose some awesome talent, starting with Kyle Smith, who's now at Central Michigan. Cupboard's not bare, though. He brings back 11 starters, plus a ton of kids. Don't forget that practiced for 16 weeks last season against those all-star, all-state kind of kids. I think they'll be fine. They've popped up at number one on a couple of preseason rankings. Maybe a little too high, but a lot of that is tradition and program and being the state champ. Okay. Really good non-league. Trinity here out of the box. Then they play Hempfield and McCaskey back-to-back, which will be interesting playing some Section 1 teams. But I think there'll be some growing pains early on, but I think they have enough kids coming back that they're going to be okay. I think they have 5 offensive linemen coming back that all played last year, including the center, which is huge, and Mech. As of early in the week, John Rhoda, the senior, who's never taken a snap, I've been told is probably going to get the start under center on Friday night against Trinity. Gibbons has played quarterback. He started in the Manheim Central game last year. Reese McCall had a ton of touches out of the backfield and in the slot last year. He's back. Sweigert's back to catch passes. There's a lot of kids there. When you start thumbing through Catholic's roster, you will recognize a lot of the names. You won't see Smith, you won't see Purvis, you won't see Hall, but you'll see a lot of kids that you'll remember. And if you look at their stats, you'll see kids that actually had stats in big games last year. So, yeah, I think they're going to be okay. These are 3 testers out of the chute. Trinity's always a great game, and then they'll get the 2 bigger Section 1 teams to see how they stack up in the trenches a little bit. But, yeah, I think Catholic's going to be fine. I think they're going to be there in the end. Section 3 is going to be a little odd this year without LS. They don't get their big game until Week 10 against Elko, which will set them up going into districts. Who knows? Are they loaded a number 1 like last year? No, not at the start. But I think once November rolls around, I think Catholic will be there, yes.
Sure. And you mentioned some of the names they have back. Another one I'd like to throw in there is Trevor St. Clair, who got injured, broke a leg in the first district playoff game last year. So he missed that whole postseason run. But during the regular season, he was a Reese McCall type where they lined him up at receiver and at running back, really moved him all around the field. They do that with a lot of their players. And I know Bruce Harbach mentioned that he has a lot of sophomores that he would like to work in, that he's very high on. They have a lot of speed. And, you know, as I said, he never lacks for confidence. You would think, looking at all the holes that he has, there would be some misgivings there. If there are, he's doing a great job of hiding them. He thinks they're going to be very, very good this year. We'll see how it works out. As far as Friday night's game goes, this is the 10th season that Trinity and Catholic have tangled in the opener. Catholic is 4-5 in the previous 9 meetings. They had lost 3 in a row. Leading into last year when they just obliterated Trinity. It was 42-0. So Trinity, maybe they're coming in for revenge. I've read a little bit about them. I know they do have a very big offensive line this year, but they might be a little weak at the skill spots. So how do you think they're going to fare on Friday night with the Crusaders?
Well, here's the key thing about Trinity that I saw in the preseason stuff. They're junking their wing tee. I mean, and Trinity and wing tee is like Donegal and wing tee.
Yeah.
I mean, Trinity's been running the wing tee forever, and apparently they're going to get away from that a little bit and go to the more spread package, the Wildcat stuff, which everybody's doing now, by the way. But yeah, I read that about Trinity. They're going to get away from that, do some different things, try to spread it around. Not a lot of skill kids back. I think the quarterback is back. He's a junior. They'll be good in the trenches. Trinity always seems to have those 1 or 2 mammoth offensive line kind of guys. Fun game, great opener, good rivalry. I didn't realize this was 10 times.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Still like Catholic.
Yeah.
Solid Catholic.
Yeah, Trinity always seems to give them trouble, last year's result notwithstanding.
Yeah.
They had won 3 in a row. Prior to that, a couple of those were, I know Catholic missed a field goal late in one of those. I think that was maybe 2008. The 2007 game was something like 20-18 or something like that. So they're always, or usually, very tight games. I think this one will be pretty tight as well. But I like Catholic. I think they get off to a good start here. You mentioned the 2 Section 1 games they have coming up, so they kind of want to hit the ground running here.
Sure.
Even though Hempfield and McCaskey have both struggled, they're still Section 1 teams. That's a bit higher in class than Catholic is used to. So yeah, I like them as well. We'll see what happens on Friday. Don't forget, I'll be blogging live from this game, bringing you all the action on the field. Jeff and I will both be updating scores from around the league as we get them. We make a lot of calls on Friday night to our colleagues here at Lancaster Newspapers, trying to get the scores as they happen. We'll post those on lanksports.com as well as on our blogs. After the games are all in on Friday night, after we get all the final scores, we'll be doing something new this year. Jeff and I are going to be shooting a video, kind of wrapping up the big stories each Friday night, the top performers, the results that kind of raise some eyebrows. And in the meantime, if you have any questions about your favorite team, another new feature this year, Jeff and I are going to be hosting live chats every Thursday night starting at 8 o'clock beginning this week. Jeff, you're flying solo this week, but you're going to be discussing the preseason picks, the predictions, and breaking down some of Friday night's juicier games. And also during the week, don't forget to visit lanksports.com, check out our blogs. My blog, The Huddle, talks exclusively about Lancaster-Lebanon League football. Jeff gets into a lot of football in his blog, A View from the Press Box, but he also brings you some news from other sports around the league. They're all there on lanksports.com. You can find links to our blogs there. You can also find links to our spotlight games on the main page. We hope to see you Friday night.